Hello everyone, welcome to episode 3 of this magazine series. Today we'll be looking at the Flow magazine. It's printed in Poland but published in the Netherlands. I have paid $18.25, that's Australian, and in the UK it's £9.95, and I can gather in Europe you're paying €13.35. They bring out 6 issues per year, which I suppose makes it then a bi-monthly magazine, and they will also release some special issues throughout the year. Now, to be completely honest with you, I wasn't actually planning to make a video about this magazine. I was actually going to the shops to go get another magazine to make a video of, and then I saw this cover and I just couldn't resist it and I picked it up. Now, I don't normally get Flow, and I think the reason for this is because usually they come with this like little plastic piece over it, so you can't really have a proper look in it. But the few times that I did try to like have a squiz and see what's inside, it wasn't completely what I expected. It was just not, and it just didn't align with my creative style. And I hate getting a magazine, reading it, and then just throwing it in the bin. I'm always looking to see how can I reuse the magazine in a different way. How can I work it into journaling, art journaling, or any creative process. And I just never thought that the Flow magazine, I could do so much with it. There were bits and pieces that I loved about it, but I felt with other magazines, I just got more value out of it, and I was able to use more of the pages in my creative process. But I have to be honest, I was completely surprised because this is the first time that I could actually go properly through the magazine, page by page, read the articles without being in the shop and just like having a quick browse. And I was quite surprised. I did enjoy it. I loved reading it. It's got a variety of articles that's well written. And I also want to show you different types of magazines so you can pick the one that best suits you, because we're all different and we're all looking for different things. And I want to show you what's out there, and some people love Flow and other people don't, and that's completely fine. I will take back everything that I did think about it. It's not my favorite still, but I will get it from time to time, and it's something that I just think I won't use as much as what I would use other magazines. So that's the gist of it, but I'm very happy that I picked up this one. I was surprised, like I've said, and I think it was definitely the cover that drew me in. And I loved where they say celebrating creativity, imperfection, and life's little pleasure. Imperfection, you know, we are putting so much pressure on us to always get everything perfect, and I'm one of those people. Generally in different parts of my life, I love perfection, but I've learned with art, you just have to let it go. Not everything can be perfect, and it shouldn't be, because imperfections are actually, just in my personal opinion, it makes a piece. And it was very difficult for me to let go, but I have done that, and it still comes back now and again, but I just push it to the side. And it's difficult because I've always been more organized, having everything in a systematical way, but I've always been drawn to those messy art pieces and where it's abstract or just free flowing, and those things definitely you don't get that through being perfect. And I also loved the Stephen Hawking quote on the front. It says, "Without imperfection, neither you nor I would exist." And that really just spoke to me, and I think that's the main reason why I got this magazine. But now I don't want to go into, I think I've spoken enough about those little chit chats. You probably want to see what's inside, and then I will just go through it like I usually do, and bring some ideas of how I think I might be using the pages. So with this Flow magazine, you got this book was included, and it is How Well Do You Know Yourself? Get to know yourself better through writing, and it's like a little mini course. I see it says like 3, so I'm wondering if this is like book 3 and if there might be a book 2 or 1. I'm not sure. So if you do get this magazine on a regular basis, just let me know in the comments down below. So in this little course, it's basically just gives you some pointers on writing and just to practice it, and giving you step-by-step instructions. I haven't gone through this properly, and writing is also a creative process, so that's why this book's been included, and I think it's something that you either love or you hate. And you've got loads of space to write. They have left a lot of pages blank for you, and throughout the book they have little spots where there's like a new chapter or like a new little note that you can just look at, and a lot of blank pages. Now if you are not into writing or practicing your writing, or you're not really interested in doing this workbook as a course, you can completely cut this out and use it. And with the blank pages, you can just turn it into writing paper. It's so easy to just cut this or tear it out, and you can do some journaling on there and slip it into an envelope. So I think that's probably how I would use these pages. And then in the Flow magazine itself, has this beautiful inside cover which I adore, and I saw this little name plate here where you can write your name, and it says this flow belongs to whoever, and I was thinking I'd love to cut this out and use it in my journal, and I'll definitely cover up this little bit that says the flow belongs to with a sticker or just some brown paper that I'm sticking over there, and then I can do the date on it. I can write a title, I can accompany it with a photo and just write a little quote there. I don't know where my words are today, but anyway, let's see if I can make it through this video. So I love the patterns on here, and I was thinking that looking at this, these patterns are giving me ideas in my journal to do little doodles. A journal spread can sometimes be finished off just by doing doodling, and these are cute little ideas for you to use in your journal and to do those little doodles to finish a page off. This is just the contents, so it's divided into time, people, pictures, and life. And it just shows you that in this issue you're going to get some masking tape and a little mini course workbook. And I forgot to say, the cover of this magazine is actually available as a Bree Harrison is the illustrator, and it's available in an A3 print that you can purchase from her website. And so that's definitely available if you would like to have one. And just I'm not sponsored or anything. All these magazines I've bought with my own money, and I'm just making videos of it because I love reading and using it. Now, if you don't want to buy the A3 print, I can totally see myself cutting this out with an X-Acto knife. And I've got a pegboard in my studio, and putting it up on a pegboard and just being inspired by the images and the quotes, that would do it definitely for me. And you can exchange it out every 3 months, put a different cover on there or something else that inspires you. You can also not laminate it, you can also put it in a frame and then put it up on your wall if that's something that you really feel that you want to do. So that's something like this you can do the same with. And there are so many other things that you can do with this. I'm just using some examples, and I'm trying not to repeat the same examples from previous videos. So yes, you can make an envelope out of it, you can cover a journal with it, all those things. I'm just trying to think of new things and not reiterating things that I've said in previous videos. I love that. And for these little borders, I have used some magazine papers and I made these cute little banners, which is just made out of trim, a button, and some Tim Holtz stickers. And I've made a few, some of them single and some of them are like these double ones, where I've used a small banner and a bigger banner. And they are so cute to add to journal entries, scrapbooking, even junk journals, and they're self-explanatory to make, but I was thinking of doing a tutorial, just a quick one to show you how I've made these. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But I think I'll do something like that. And then this is such a heavy cardstock. It's definitely not from the normal magazine paper. You can hear that is very thin, and this is just nice and thick. And I was thinking of doing dashboards with this. So if you don't completely know what a dashboard is, don't worry, like not everybody knows and you don't have to, but this is basically a dashboard for a planner, and you can put that down there, trace over it and cut it out. You can also make a dashboard for your traveler's notebook, and you can type a little quote, cut it out and stick it on there. And I think they are perforated. Yes, they're perforated, so it's easy to get out. Then now this part of the magazine is where the article starts, and it's all about time. So as I've said, there's not much that you can use here in your journal or something like that in your creative projects. It's a lot of like reading and then just photos, but I found the articles to really, it was well written and I enjoyed it. So I am interested in van life, so this was something that I loved reading, and it just aligns with everything that I thought it would be. I know it's not an easy thing, but I just love that people say they feel free when they get into a van. So this was an article that really it was something that I'm interested in. And I love this font here. It's like that typewriter font. So something like that I might be keeping, and I'll use it as a background when I do some collaging. An example is I did this about 2 years ago. It's a course that I followed from Tam from Willing. I will link her website down below if you're interested, but she uses a lot of like collage elements in her background, and I've used some magazine writing script font over here and here. I'll try and get some close-ups so you can see it, but it just adds some interest to your piece. And I mean, it doesn't stand out completely, but it's adding texture. This part is about interviews that they've had with creative people, and I also found this very inspiring, and it's nice to see other people succeed in creative careers that they've gone for. So this is an illustrator from Tokyo, Japan, and they just interviewed her, and it's nice to see her work. This is, I think they're a couple. That's what it sounds like when I'm reading it. And they've started their own coffee business. And then this is an embroidery artist that lives in New Hampshire. And she makes all these beautiful embroidery art pieces. And I really found that very inspiring. This is all about a new action plan, and people apparently, they always complain, but they've noticed recently that people don't complain as much, and they are just tackling their issues like head on and not whining and complaining about it. So that was very interesting to read. I feel like I'm going to use the word interesting quite a lot, so I'll try and think of a different word to say. But this piece here, I love that they've used shapes and they've turned it into this like girl's hair. That, if I'm looking at that, I'm just going like, wow. I wonder if I can do something similar to this, but instead of like just drawing the shapes, using fabric and cutting different shapes out of fabric and then using that to make a girl's hair. So those kind of ideas are floating around my head when I'm looking at this. And I'm also loving this little bird here, and I'm thinking now I want to go practice drawing some birds. So I just get inspired so easily, I think. Well, it doesn't always come easily, but I'm so passionate about it. This is also, you can see it's from the same artist. I think that looks so cool. It's so different. So this is the next section about people, and with each section they've got this cardstock with a pattern on, and I am thinking with these cardstocks that's like a solid color or pattern on, to do photo frames. Now I have an example here of where I've done it. And this was a paper very similar to something like that, and I just cut a rectangle out. You can measure it beforehand to the size of your photo and cut it out, or you can just do some random rectangles that you've cut out. So you can do it in different shapes and you can see if it fits your photo. So I've cut this one actually, and I think it's going to like fit this photo more or less. And that just like frames it off. So that's something that you could do, is creating frames. I've also done another little one here, and I've just, the previous one that I just showed is very plain, and this one's got some more decorational pieces to it. So I've added a butterfly and some stamping. I also distressed the edges, and that can be a photo frame too. So I think that looks beautiful. And then you get the inside, like when you cut out the frame, there's an inside part that's going to come out. So don't throw those things away. So this is one of the insides that came out. You can also just put your photo over that and it looks like a frame. And to jazz it up, you can add like a little tab somewhere here, like let's say over there somewhere, and cute little buttons. So you can do something like that, create a little photo collage there for yourself. And then you just have some quotes throughout this whole magazine. And another interview that they've had with this guy, and he basically started an online journalism platform, and they just had showed, he spoke about his past, like where he came up with the idea and how he got inspired by it, and just a bit about his life. And I think I've skipped a page there. And then it's just more about his present, like where is he now and how is he taking his dream further and what he's looking for in the future. And then this is just about a very weird article, if I can say that. It's about thinking about death and talking about it, that's like an important part of life. So I have to say, like, I get like why you have to talk about it, but this was my least favorite article. But I did like the images, but I find that I don't know if I'll use it because of the quotes on there. I don't think that's something that I'll put in a journal entry. And they've got like another frame here that you can use in a journal. This is the masking tape or washi tape that they've added. This is definitely something that I'll be using, and I love that they've added like like just this pattern at the back of it. And this is a quote too that I really loved: simplicity is the greatest adornment of art. So true. And I love this font, and I am not good with lettering, but there's something that just draws me to it, and I want to be good at it. And for me to improve that skill, I need to practice it a bit more, let's be honest. I'm not just going to wake up and be able to do it. So these little quotes are nice to try and copy into your journal or a piece of paper and just practice your lettering. And then it was just about, this article was about foraging, and I love that image there, that I'm thinking if I can practice and draw these, just a normal image, don't color it in or paint it. I'm thinking of just doing like black and white florals and plants, and then putting it on, cutting it out into like a rectangle, and then sticking it on this paper. And that's something that could be nice to also frame and put up in your room. I think I've still got a long way to go to get there, but I was thinking like that is something that I could do with this paper that's nice. Maybe you are already there with your artistic skill and you would be able to do it. This was just about a lady that lives in Cape Town, and she's written articles about the nannies that you can find there. Then this is one of the special editions that I was talking about earlier on. So each year they bring out a book for paper lovers, and it's filled with books and patterns, loads of videos on it. This was so interesting. This lady, they just wrote about her life, and I love reading biographies, so this really got, this was really something that I was looking forward to reading. And then you get another one of those borders that you can use in many different ways. And I love the black and white photos. Like, we're always looking for black and white photos to add to our journal entries, especially junk journalers and if you're in the vintage style. And Johanna, she's got a YouTube channel as well. She actually brought out a series called Nameless or something, and she had her whole series was about making a journal and then using these old vintage photos to journal about. So that's something that you could use for that project, or do your own similar one. Another one of those cardstock pieces. Love this quote: nothing's missing, you are already whole. And it just gives me some ideas that you can have a quote book and you can do quote, I call it quote art. So you basically write the quote and do a little bit of art around it, or the quote is the art that you can do with Ecoline inks or Jane Davenport ink, anything like that. This, oh my word, is a lady that's making smoothies, and she is garnishing this bowl with food dyes, and she makes these art pieces. I adore it, and this is something that I'll cut out, and it's going to look like a little button that I can add to some of my creative projects. Some more of those black and white photos, so junk journalists will love this. Some of them are big, not sure how you're going to incorporate that, but I'm sure you'll find a way. Well, some of you do have big journals though, not all of you have a small one like my own, so you would be able to maybe incorporate that, but there are some small photos. Now this, oh my word, is a photographer from Australia that's actually going to India, and these like cloths that they've hand painted, these photographers are using it as backgrounds, but it's slowly dying out and we're not going to get photography like that anymore. So he went to India and he wants to take photos of these backdrops of the photographers that are still using it in their studios, and then he also got the photographer to pose like with his hand painted backcloth. So if you look at the art, you can get some colorful inspiration there for some pieces, go down a different style. This is about life in Amsterdam, so she's got this home, and I think she's an illustrator as well, and they've gone for this very minimalistic style. Another one of those cardstock pieces. This part is all about favorite things like apps, books, and stuff that they've seen. And I saw these little kitten cards. And I actually saw them at my local bookshop, and I thought these are so cute. It's actually like a game, a memory game that you can get for your children. You have to match up the cat to the kitten, like to his baby. And there are 25 different matching pairs. But it's like, it's about that size. I don't know, that's not going to actually help me show you on camera like that size, because you won't know what that size is, but I haven't measured it, but I did look at it. It's like the size almost of a journaling card, maybe a little bit smaller. So what would that be? I'm not sure. 2 by 3 inches, 3 by 4 inches, more or less like that, but don't take my word for it, look, rather like research it. And I was thinking that can work so well for little journaling cards and junk journals, and you can totally put some lined paper at the back or tea stain paper, and it can be a little journaling card, because we're always looking for books with like flowers and birds and kittens and stuff like that, these watercolor images, and that is very similar to it. So I was thinking you could use that. So I haven't picked up a pair, but if I do, I will show you. So this is basically just about different things that they've seen, that they're showing. This is like a personal library kit. I also saw this somewhere where you can get these library cards in with a stamp, and also seems very cute. And then it's just like more articles. So as you can see, it's a lot of articles, but very inspiring and informative, with a little bit of art and things that you can use in between. This is cute, plant people, and I love aesthetically how that looks, and I have to always take photos for my Instagram, so this definitely gives me inspiration. This is a book that Flo actually prints. It's called Creativity Takes Courage, Dare to Think Differently. It seems so interesting. I want to have a look at it. If you have this book, please let me know what you think of it. And this is just about running without a goal. So a little bit of exercise and goal setting, I suppose. This article is about doing away with waste, very close to my heart, and I'm trying to get rid of most plastic things and more going for things that can be recycled and using glass containers, because if you have seen like what plastic can do, it's so sad. So I love that they've added something like this. I think it's so important to look after our environment. And they've got a little picture there, and then this is just drawing inspiration from books, and it's just loads of illustrations. Another one that's so good to tear out and put on your wall for some inspiration. Love this one especially. This is my favorite one. I love these two colors together, and green and purple are actually complementary colors, but I don't put them together that often, so that's something that I need to try and do more. Then right at the back, it's just a small little book about Flow News, so it's just showing you what's in the web shop, and you can follow them on Pinterest to subscribe, some information and what you can expect in the next issue. And that's basically the Flow magazine. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you again with another one. Have a great day. Bye.